Hey, this is JD Stafford.
This is Tracy Stafford.
And this is Chad Stafford.
And we're the band Trippp, and you're listening to the Arch City Music Podcast live from the Barn Studio.
I can't do the time, and I'm just counting down the days till the devil claims my soul. Slept in this cage for 49. Judge said I'd be in here till I die. I caught my girl with another man, so I shot him in his soul and then I ran.
Hey y'all, this is Austin. You're listening to the Arch City Music Podcast live from the Barn Studio, and I have not one or two but three great guests on the line here. The band Trippp. JD, Trayson, and Chaz here. Guys, how are y'all doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to have y'all. This is a unique interview. Typically, we've only got one person on the other end of the line, so you are, I guess, 3 times as cool tonight, huh?
I guess so, man.
Yeah.
Great. Well, guys, I'm real interested to talk to y'all because cool concept. I mean, it's cool to be triplets, first of all. Not many people
I'll tell
can.
you what, it took us all of about 12 seconds to come up with the name, man. We had to really put probably 7 brain cells we have collectively together to figure that out.
7 collective brain cells contributed for one hell of a band name. You know, it just because it took you 12 seconds don't mean that it needed to take longer. It works, dude. As soon as I saw that,
Right.
I thought, I wonder, like triple something, like that's got to be where it's going. And then, you know, I dive into the bio, and I'm like, oh, yep, that makes sense. Very cool. So, y'all live in Nashville, but you are from Jonesboro, Arkansas, right?
Yes, sir. About 45 minutes from Memphis.
Very right. And that makes sense. Your bio says it clear as day, but you can hear that Memphis influence in your sound, among other things. You know, it says Kentucky bluegrass, Southern rock, Memphis blues, and killer family harmony, which I agree, it's a well-written bio. But I'm interested for y'all to tell me about, you know, how did music start? Was one of you more musically inclined, talk the other two into it, or was it just meant to be?
Well, man, I think Chaz is the guitar player, but man, he's always kind of just been the musical prodigy of the 3. I'd really have to say me and Trayson had to, I don't know how good we are, but we really had to work for any skill that we do have at the moment. But Chaz has always just had a natural ear for harmonies and just good music flat out. From birth, man, we came out of the womb singing together. Neither of our parents are musical at all. My dad thinks he is, but he's not. But they love music, man, and they exposed us to all kinds of music growing up. Dad's been in country music, country radio for 50 years now. And so we grew up listening to, kind of grew up with the evolution of country music. And I mean, we've heard it all, man. And growing up an hour from Memphis, we were exposed to the blues from an early age. And I think Chaz really, I think that impacted Chaz the most with, artists like Howlin' Wolf, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who are some other ones, Chaz? BB for sure.
You can't be 50 minutes from Memphis and not talk about BB King.
No, man.
I'm thinking of a whole juicy rack of ribs right now.
I can smell them, dude.
See, I'm not a big guy, but my inner fat ass, you hear BB King and it goes straight to barbecue.
Oh man, Trayson's not fat by any means, but me and Chaz are skin and bone. Trayson's the only one with a little bit of meat on his bones, and he's the food critic of the 3, man. He'll run through some ribs, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, none of y'all look like you're not skin and bones, or at least close to it. And I know the struggle here, but So that, how long have y'all really, when did Trippp really start? I mean, y'all came out of the womb together, sure, but when did you really make a concerted, structured effort to chase this music thing?
Man, like I said, we played music together our entire lives. When we got to, I'd like to say when we got to about sophomore, junior year of high school, me and Chaz were really into basketball, man. We really thought we were going to be the next, I don't know, we thought we were going to be the next Gasol brothers. If you take one good look at us now, you can probably tell we're not dunking on anybody anytime soon. Trayson was real into band and swim team and that kind of stuff in high school. So we were all kind of doing our own thing, and then me and Chaz eventually left, gave up on basketball and decided to focus on music full time, and Trayson did the same. And so it was about 2017, we got an opportunity to go down to South Haven, Mississippi, and participate in the Mid-South Fair Youth Talent Show, and that was our first big thing that we ever did. We made it to the finals. And that kind of boosted our confidence enough to say, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe we can start doing this a little more. And that's where we really got the confidence to start getting out in our hometown, in our area, and playing shows. But since then, man, we've played, I'd like to say, 200-300 shows. There's been some awards here and there. We've gotten open for and hit the road with a lot of cool different artists. And it's been a dream come true, man. It's been unreal.
First of all, you said 2017. That puts y'all barely old enough to drive to the gig, right?
Yeah. we're still baby faced. So, if you think it was hard, we thought it was hard to get into bars. Now it sure as hell's hard to get in back then.
I bet
we did, though.
We did.
Well, hell, y'all are playing the show. They can afford to sneak a beer or two, right?
If you couldn't tell, I love to talk, man. I can talk our way into just about anything.
I was a fellow babyface kid. I say kid. I'm only 26. I'm not too far ahead of you guys. You're each 21, right?
Yes, sir.
I say each as if you're not all the same age. Like I said, we're not used to triplets. Who's a triplet? That's crazy. But at 21,
it's just us. We're the Hillbilly Jonas Brothers, man. It's just us and them, I guess.
That would be a killer marketing plan. The Hillbilly Jonas Brothers.
I've been saying that for so long, and you're the first person that's ever stuck with. I'm glad you said that.
Well, yeah, we'll talk to your manager because I think that would get some play. Well, hey, you mentioned
we'll update the bio, man.
I love it. So 200-300 shows in that 5-year span. That's quite a lot, especially considering COVID threw a big old wrench in the works right in the middle of that timeline. But
yes, sir. It was really rough on us. I mean, that was 2 years of just nothing. We got out of it this summer. We got back on the road, and we were able to play, I think, 40 shows around our home state, Arkansas, and just the surrounding states. Which was great, man. Just getting back out and seeing all the people, seeing a bunch of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, and just priming that pump to put out some new music, man.
Well, you mentioned that one of the artists you've opened for, you've toured with, is Matt Stell. That is, we'll call it an Arch City Music Podcast alumni. He was one of our very early interviews because he played a show at the camp at Lake Wapapolo back in June. It would have been.
He was great, man. He came to Jonesboro. He came to the NEA District Fair, and it was his last show before he was heading out on his first stadium tour. Prayed for You had just hit country radio. It was his first weekend out on an actual tour bus, and I'm sure he had a good time. But I think he may have. He could have been a little more excited to be at the NEA District Fair. I think there was about 100 other places he would have rather have been than there that night.
Well, that's a bummer to hear. I guess he was just disappointed because he had to come on the show a come onto that stage after you guys, and he's like, shit, how am I supposed to fill these shoes? There were 3 of them. He said, damn, there were 3 of them.
He's probably thinking that I'm having to follow these assholes when I could be in Nissan Stadium right now.
Well, that over and onward. We're here in 2022. You guys have lived in Nashville for how long now?
Been here for 2 years.
And JD, you and Trayson are at Belmont. Is that right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
what was that?
Say what you're gonna say.
No, I was gonna ask what you were saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a biblical studies major and a music minor, and then Drive is a songwriting major. And then Chaz is taking a break and he went to focusing on music for a little bit. So
Yeah, and Chaz, you work for Gibson Guitars, is that right?
yes, sir, I do.
Very cool.
Although I only play Fender guitars, so I don't really know how that worked out that way. But
Oh boy, that seems like a conflict of interest. I'm not. Do they know that? Does
Yeah.
Gibson know that?
I don't tell anybody.
I don't think he included that on the
That
resume.
was not on my resume. No.
I take it
For all
you're
they
not.
know, he's only hauling Les Pauls around.
I take it you're not a salesman for him, because I'm not sold.
Not at all. I'd be a horrible salesman.
Well, hey guys, I gotta tell you, I got a little bit of a grudge because I am not a big fan of Belmont. I think the school is so cool. I've seen y'all's campus down there in Nashville. Cool city to be in and all, but this past December, I was at Chaffetz Arena here in St. Louis watching my beloved St. Louis University Billikens come up just 5 points short of you. 5 points short of
Oh,
y'all.
Lord.
I can tell you to the date, it was December 7th. We lost 64-59, and that's from memory because that memory is engraved. We blew it. At the end, we had this whole lead, and then you guys just snuck in and took it from us. It was awfully rude.
What'd you say your school was?
St. Louis University. Now, I didn't go there. I'm just a obnoxious fan. Do you guys ever catch basketball games down there?
I was about to ask. I didn't catch what sport you were talking about.
Oh,
Man,
basketball.
We had a great basketball team last year, the last couple of years. We lost just about everybody though. I'm nervous to see. I'm nervous to see how we do this year, but we'll definitely be at most of the games, man. It's a fun atmosphere.
Sure, and especially because you said y'all grew up playing, or at least the two of you did.
Absolutely, man. And you know, the Belmont basketball team, they're not that big, man. Maybe I've kind of been thinking maybe if the whole music thing doesn't work out, I may just show up to one of those walk-on tryouts and see what happens.
That's funny you say that because IUPUI, Indiana University of Purdue University of Indiana. I mean, it's the most ridiculous school name of all time, but IUPUI last year was out like begging on Twitter and Facebook and like, hey, if you're a student at IUPUI, literally come try out. We don't have enough people to fill these uniforms. They had like,
Oh, wow.
they were playing actual Division I basketball games with like one guy on the bench. It was absurd. It was like,
I think I remember seeing some videos of that.
I was thinking, man, you know, I got 4 years of eligibility. I could go back to school. Crazy. So, hey, the dream's not over. Go give it a shot. Hell,
the
and
dream will never die, Austin.
y'all could double dip or something and play the halftime shows too, you know?
Oh yeah, that's kind of how it went in high school, man.
Really? So, like, you were playing in your high school gym during games, or?
Playing is a very loose word, which is why we ended up leaving. We didn't get a whole lot of playing time. I don't think if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you got I remember watching your games. You got pretty good. You got some good shots and stuff in there.
Thanks, Tracy. Tracy's probably referring to the JV games.
No.
So y'all are not the Splash Brothers reincarnated.
No. We used to try to sell ourselves like we were, but when the lights came on and it was and the pressure was on, we're maybe the Airball brothers.
Well, court fright is real, but the stage fright is not. I've seen clips and I've heard good things, and I'm excited to see y'all. Again, we got you here because we are talking about your show at the camp at Lake Wapapolo on October 15th. You're playing with guys like the John D. Hale Band, Wyatt Flores. There's a group called Blind Velvet that's on that ticket that I saw play at that same venue a couple months ago, and they were a lot of fun. And then we've actually got my studio and our podcast's sponsored artist. His name's Jackie Tyler, and he's opening that show for y'all. So I'm excited for you guys to see him. He's something special. I think you'll like him, and I'm pumped. That show is going to be fun, guys. Have you played in Missouri
We're
before?
beyond pumped, man. It's a great bill, hell of a lineup, and I remember making a list of just dream venues that we could realistically play over the next year or two, and this one was at the top of our list, man. I mean, we've been hunting this one down for a while, and it's just an honor to be able to share the stage with these guys. We can't wait to be there, man. It's going to be a great night.
Dude, that is a justified bucket list venue because that place is just cool. It's
a cool atmosphere, man.
It's just this clear cut in the middle of the woods that you come up on out of nowhere, and it's the coolest little outdoor venue, but it's fully covered. So like you feel like you're inside and outside at the same time. And it's just this like redneck backwoods, hidden gem. And so
Dude,
you've been there before.
Being back over here in Nashville for school, we're here for 4 months straight. We only get 2 or 3 day breaks, and we scheduled this on our fall break, our 3-day fall break, because we just wanted to get away. And what a perfect place to get away, man. This is about as good as it gets. This is going to feel just like home, man. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I bet, because hell, it practically is home. I think that I actually live up in St. Louis, and I'm as further from there than you are in Jonesboro. So you guys think you'll have a good hometown crowd coming to watch you play?
We've had a lot of people reach out and say that they'll be there, and it helps that, because it is kind of a obscure place. It is way out there in the woods, and not a whole lot of people know about it. But man, we've had a lot of Jonesboro artists recently, especially younger guys, Tanner Schumer, Eli Adams, get up there and play. So they've been, I think that's really helped just put a spotlight on it. And so I really do think we're going to be able to pull a pretty decent crowd up there, man. I'm very excited.
I'm a big fan of both Tanner and Eli. In fact, Tanner and I are going to have one of these conversations in the next couple of days here.
Dude, you got to watch out for these Jonesboro guys, man.
Jonesboro is taking over the world. Eli played on the last show Dylan had down there at the camp. Our friend Dylan Manis. He opened for the Reed Southall band and Palmer Anthony.
He did, man.
That was
he
a
was
show.
On cloud nine,
I know he was. I was talking to him the whole time, and I was like, man, these people are here to see you too, And he was just like over the moon about it. And I mean, hell, for good reason.
He's great, man. He's as good as it gets around Jonesboro and beyond, man. He's flat out doing it, and it's been a real honor to see him start from where he was and just grow into what he is now, and he's headed toward only great things, man. We're trying to talk him into moving to Nashville, dude. If he'd move his butt over to Nashville, it'd be over.
I believe that, man. Just the exposure and the resources there. I mean, it's there's a reason everybody does it. You didn't reinvent the wheel. You just made the safe play. I think that would, you're right, help them out a bit. But surely it's done the same for you. And guys, I wanted to talk about some of your music here. We'll start with the obvious here. Can't Do the Time. That looked like it was actually the first single you released. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That was the first song we ever recorded and released. Honestly, man, I don't even remember when we wrote that song. It was probably 2017, maybe early 2018. I do remember it was the first country song we ever wrote. When we first started out, we played a little bit of country, played a little bit of bluegrass, but we were honestly going for more of I honestly want to say like a Mumford & Sons kind of folkier sound. And
I
then
love
just over
that.
time, the more we played, the bigger the crowds got, the more energy we had to bring to shows. It kind of turned into more of a Southern rock thing and a traditional country thing, high energy country. And Can't Do the Time was kind of a product at that time. So just high energy, traditional country. And then shout out to Chaz for throwing those harmonies together, man, because those, I love still, we've been playing that song for probably 6 years now, and it never gets old, man. It's just one of those earworms.
Sure. Well, I'm going to make y'all listen to yourself real quick and play a clip of this, all right?
We didn't agree to this, Austin.
Well, tough.
I can't do the time, and I'm just counting down the days till the devil claims my soul. Slept in this cage for 40 nights. Judge said I'd be in here till I die. I caught my girl with another man, so I shot him in his soul and then I ran. That son of a gun.
I love that song for any number of reasons. I mean, you start off and I get like Eagles 7 Bridges Road vibes where you just strung out at the gates with that harmony that's just so cool. And
Heck yeah, man.
the grit in your voice on that there, JD, I mean, I'm a big fan. So tell me, that was the first song you said you wrote it back in 2017, and it was your intent for that to be the first single you released, or did you write it and it just, came to be, or?
Man, honestly, it's been so long, and at the time, especially during that time period, I think, the first 2 or 3 years we were a band, recording anything, doing this professionally, I don't even think that ever really crossed our mind. We were just doing it for fun. And that song, after continuously playing it for 2 years, I mean, we just played it everywhere we went, and it just, as we got better and as the song got better over time, because when we first wrote it, it was like a 7-8 minute long, just country medley. We probably sang that chorus, probably 8 times in the song. But man, I think we just played it and played it and played it until the right person heard it. And that person turned out to be John Conley, who grew up in Paragould, Arkansas, 30 minutes from where we live.
Right.
He's been over in Nashville for the past, 30 years or so. He's been playing for Kenny Chesney for the past 10 years and just doing session work and producing people. But he heard that song, man. He got together with us and said he wanted to produce for us and help us get some stuff recorded. And we had already recorded once before. We went down to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and recorded some cuts for another songwriter, but decided not to do anything with them because we just wanted to go our own way and record our own music. And John Conley was the first person that heard us and gave us the opportunity to do that and gave us the confidence to do that and believe that, the songs that we were writing were good enough to be recorded and released and that there was possibly an audience for that. So Can't Do the Time, man, we just wrote it for fun, but over time it turned into what it is. And I mean, we're still proud of it, man. We still love playing it, and I appreciate the kind words, man. That means a lot to us.
Well,
Especially
cool.
the 7 Bridges Road reference, dude. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I can only imagine if I made music and somebody gave me that comparison that I would, that's good company to be put in, ain't it? I meant it though.
Hang it up, man. It's time to retire. We did it.
We're done. Great. Well, guys, after that song, typically I pick a second one here, but I want to ask which of these other songs on here did you have the most fun recording? Which of these next songs is your favorite?
Blood Red Moon, man. Blood Red Moon is, I will say, that's the one that I remember recording the most, just because I remember sitting in that studio and just watching Chaz do nothing short of just make love with that guitar, man. He's a beast. And this song is his love child, man. This is still our favorite song to play. This is another one we play everywhere we go. It's one of our favorites, man. Blood Red Moon. Blood Red Moon's a good one.
Well, here we go playing it, and then Chaz, you're going to tell me a little about it, okay?
All right, will do.
Yeah, I used to be a good man. Mama used to be proud. But I went down the wrong road and I never turned around. Started running that moonshine through those Arkansas hills. Time is money, can't afford to sit still. Running from my own shadow and the trouble I know. Yeah, my heart is empty and it's cold as stone. Living like an outlaw, I'd be better off dead, with the blood red moon hanging over my head.
So, just again, off the bat, I love how we start out in mono, and I'm like, man, did I blow a speaker or something? And then it just kicks up a notch and just puts you in your seat. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
That producer, man.
That's a fun twist on your music. I bet that mono intro there wasn't part of the original plan. Who came up with that idea?
Shout out to John Albany with Sonic Eden Studios in Nashville. That's our engineer we've been using, and him and our producer work hand in hand and bounce ideas. And if I remember correctly, that was his idea. And he's a wizard on the board, man. He's something else.
Well, and in a roundabout way, it's almost like it does a great job of immediately capturing the listener's attention, because they're like, oh man, something's
Cool,
fucked
man.
up. And then they're like, oh no, it ain't. And you just pull the rug out from under them. And it's that surprise factor. It's sure, I mean, I'm telling you exactly how I heard it the first time. I was like, oh damn it. There goes my front passenger door speaker. Every once in a while, it just takes the day off, and I was pissed until, 3 more seconds in. I was like, oh, thank God. And then I was like, oh, thank God, this is another banger. I mean, just that Southern rock vibe that y'all bring to it, that's right up my alley and up so many people's alleys. I think that is one of the hottest genres coming right now. There's the Southern rock renaissance. I think that genre is as strong as it's been in many decades. And I'm excited to watch y'all get a piece of that cake. I mean, is that...
Well, dude, it's very convenient, because we'd still be making the kind of music we make, whether that's what was popping right now or not. So thank God it is. Hopefully, God willing, something happens. But man, we just love making good music, and those are the kind of songs we consider to be good music, I guess.
You and me both, brother. But would you say that's the direction you're trying to take your music? Do you have kind of a lane you're trying to navigate?
We're very diverse. That first EP was supposed to be, if you've listened to it, every song almost is its own genre, carries its own weight. And we wanted that to be sort of a preview over what we were about to do over the next 4, 5, 6 years. Man, we idolize guys like Sturgill Simpson, Stapleton, Childers, and it's almost like every album they do is a different genre that completely stands apart from anything that they've previously done. And so just about every single that we do, the past 3 or 4 have been very Southern rock. Coming out of that EP, we released 2 songs, Straight and Narrow, Rather Feel Pain, and both of those are really heavy Southern rock. We just announced that we're releasing a single at the end of the month on the 28th called Point of No Return. That's another really heavy Southern rock tune. And then coming out of that, man, we're looking to kind of ease back in to a little bit more kind of softer Americana type stuff with lots of harmony, and just kind of reintroduce those harmonies a little bit, since that's, with songs like Can't Do the Time, that's, I think, what really, there's a lot of Southern rock bands out there. There's a lot of great just rock bands in general, but harmony is something that's kind of been lost over the past couple of years, especially in mainstream country music. So we're going to try to really focus on that over the next year or so, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, guy, you're spot on. I mean, harmonies are, you see guys like Midland making it cool again. That's the whole name of the game for Midland, and I love those guys. I really do. They have a cool sound, but they don't stray too far out of, the country genre. Whereas I think if you bring that harmony to, a cool blend of blues rock and throw some bluegrass in there too.
Absolutely.
That would be a cool way to set yourselves apart without straying too far from any one path, that I think you would really capitalize on a lot of different markets. And that's what I'm excited to see out of y'all. And I loved that Stapleton reference, because you're describing your music is a good summarization of his musical career, where, he started with the Steel Drivers, the arguable best bluegrass band of all time. He then went to, and I find a lot of people don't know this, but he was the front man for the Johnson Brothers, which was
absolutely great rock band. I'll tell you what, man.
I love it.
Contest not too long ago with Fender. I forgot what the actual contest was. It was a worldwide contest judged by Nile Rodgers, Ari Hurstan, Ashley McBride. And the winner, we were the winner for Nashville, and we got to record at Welcome to 1979 Studios. And they had just this vault of just old analog tape records. And dude, they had all of the original cuts for the Johnson Brothers. Man, I Was Wrong. Great Chris Stapleton song that I didn't know that he had even recorded with the Johnson Brothers and never released. I just say that to say I love the Johnson Brothers, man. Great. I'm so glad you know that they exist.
The feeling's mutual. I mean, like I said, not many people do, and I love, the Steel Drivers is harder to get away with because they had a bit more popularity, but the Johnson Brothers... They've blown
up over the past year or two, which,
Yeah, even after Stapleton, which is really cool, because they deserve it. They're still killer, but you've got...
Absolutely.
I'll play the Johnson Brothers, and hey, ain't this great? And they're like, yeah, this sounds like Stapleton. And I'm like, it is, dumbass. I love that. People...
I've used that exact quote probably, I'd say, anywhere from 50 to 100 times.
Well, it's crazy that he can be as wildly successful as he is, and people don't know that about him. It's kind of a shame.
Exactly.
But, now he's doing solo and sticking to country stuff, but killing it. And just to show off that diversity, that range that he has is so very cool, because I've been on the record many a times, and I will die on this hill, that I think he is the most talented vocalist alive. That's a big claim to make.
I'd take it a step further and say he's probably the greatest country artist, at least of this generation, if not of the last 50 years at least, man. He is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Once in an ever talent. It wouldn't be too far of a stretch. I have so much respect for that man. He seems like an all around good guy. He looks cool. He sounds better. Hand to God, I straight up cried at his concert, October of 2021, almost a year ago to the day. Not like, bawling my eyes out on the lawn in this amphitheater, but at one point I caught full on tears in my eyes, and I was like, not ashamed. Chris Stapleton made me cry. Chris Stapleton made me cry. That's a mark of pride.
We saw him in the nosebleeds of AT&T Stadium. We saw him open for the Eagles in 2018, man. And I'm not gonna lie, that'll bring a tear to a glass eye, man, even from the nosebleeds.
He held this one note during Fire Away, and at this point it's just him and his wife Morgan up there on stage playing acoustic, and this note he hit during Fire Away, he held it, and it was just so unfathomably powerful that I 300 yards away in the lawn of Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, I was physically doubled over, like hands on my knees, because I felt the note that he's saying, punch me in the gut. Like I lost my breath.
Yeah.
It was insane. I can't, that either makes sense or it doesn't. I wouldn't have thought it possible,
Oh no, it
but
makes sense. He'll
that's
do it
what
to you, man.
his voice is a weapon and he knows how to use it. Oh man, it was something that, to this day, the opener was Marcus King. And I'm sure that's a familiar name, right?
That is a very familiar name.
I can see some similarities between what y'all are doing and him there too. Would you say that you agree?
Marcus is great, and songs like we didn't know about Marcus. Marcus really hadn't come around, at least in the mainstream. He's blown up over the past year or two, man. But The Fire would be a little bit more down his alley. That's off our first EP. But we'd love to do some more upbeat, kind of more groovy blues stuff like he's done, man. But he's got a voice, I wouldn't say as powerful as Chris, but just very versatile, man. The rasp, just the sound, the falsetto. He's got a crazy voice as well. Great writer, great guitar player. He's a beast.
I'm right there with
one
you.
Thing I was going to say about Chris is, I think he's a pretty underrated guitar player too. Coming from a guitar player, some people, make fun of him because he can't play guitar or whatever. But I mean, he's, for me, especially when he first came out, he's a big influence for me on guitar wise. I mean, I don't know for anybody else, but I just think he's really underrated as a guitar player as well.
Well, I agree, and I think it's because his guitar playing gets overshadowed by him being one of the greatest songwriters alive, and pairing that with what might be my favorite voice in country music ever, on the male side at least. I said I think he's the greatest vocalist alive. I stand by that, but I'll add the caveat that I think he is the greatest male vocalist alive, and if I had to pick a female, I'm probably going with like Adele. But as far as dudes go, Chris Stapleton is the cream of the crop. Maybe those two could form a duo.
Can't argue with it.
Well, guys, I, again, have y'all on here because October 15th, you're playing at the camp at Lake Wapapello. You're on the John D. Hale Band ticket with guys like Wyatt Flores and Tanner Schumard, Blind Velvet, Trippp, and then our personal friend, Jackie Tyler. That show is very exciting. We've been looking forward to it for a long time, and the more I talk to y'all, the more excited I am about it, because I just get the feeling that you guys got this fun stage presence. You sure got the chemistry. You were born with that. And I like your music. Do you guys have anything that we can look forward to coming out? You said October 28th. Is that right?
October 28th. We've got a song that we wrote during the COVID lockdowns. We're still sitting on 3 or 4 songs that we wrote and recorded during that time that we've been waiting kind of to get our momentum back and get ourselves back together, because we kind of touched on it. That 2-year period of COVID was really tough on us, just transitioning out of our senior year of high school going into college. It was tough, man, but I will say got a lot of great songs out of it. The song releasing at the end of this month on October 28th is one of those. It's called Point of No Return, man. We're super pumped. And again, we cannot wait to be at Wapapello. It's going to be a hell of a night. Great bill for anybody listening. Come, bring your friends, bring your dog, bring your grandma. It's going to be a crazy fun night, and we're super excited and honored to be a part of it.
You heard it here first. Trippp, let the dogs out. Guys, we are pumped. I can't wait for this new single. I am going to let y'all go here so I can get back to listening to more of your music, but we are so looking forward to meeting you guys and watching you burn the place down. Again, thank you for joining us here on the Little Old Arch City Music Podcast. We had fun.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure, boys. Thank you.
I can't do the time, and I'm just counting down the days till the devil claims my soul. in this cage for 40 nights. Judge said I'd be in here till I die. I caught my girl with another man, so I shot him